Hey, Chad Peterman here, your host of the Can't Stop the Growth podcast, a show that advances the home services industry and beyond. In this exclusive series, I've joined forces with Camp Digital to bring you powerful learnings that advance you and your business in the realm of all things marketing. Together, we bring content that empowers you to build a positive, healthy workplace for you, your people, and your bottom line. So let me officially pass the mic to Camp Digital for today's episode, chock full of insights that you can take and apply to your growth. Now listen and grow.
At Camp Digital, we know that staying competitive is paramount. Whether you're a seasoned business owner or just starting out, this series provides you with the tools and knowledge to prepare and advance your home service business to thrive in this dynamic landscape.
Each month, you'll hear from Camp Digital leadership and occasional featured guests who share knowledge and insight for real-world success. So grab a seat around the campfire as we illuminate the path forward together. Let's get into it. I am so excited about this conversation. So some questions to ask you about your home service business before you get started to see if this podcast is for you. Currently, do you have a way to follow up with your existing client base? So do you have any way that is automated that you follow up outside of email right now with your existing client base? How about speed to lead? When you get a form submission or someone from Yelp reaches out to you, how quickly are you responding to that lead? Is it a few minutes? Is it a couple days? Is it 30 seconds? Because it should be. What is your process for following up on open estimates or abandoned calls or maybe some financing approval? If you've answered, I don't really have a follow-up system or no to any of these, then this podcast is for you. Because today I had the absolute pleasure of sitting down with Ryan Fenn, who is the CEO and founder of Chiirp. After experiencing multiple seven-figure success using text messaging and automation in his sales process, Ryan went on to develop Chiirp. He wanted to provide a tool for companies to be able to get the same results he was getting with his marketing. Automation completely changed his professional life, and now his passion is focused on helping home service companies implement revenue-generating automations at each stage of the customer journey. He's a husband and a proud father of four, and he loves the entrepreneurial journey. Today, you will get some specific takeaways to help your home service company and to be able to follow up automatically with your customer base. Thank you so much for being here and enjoy the show. All right, I'm excited for this guest today. We are sitting down with Ryan Fenn, the CEO and founder of Chiirp. Welcome, Ryan.
Thank you so much, Megan. Appreciate it. Happy to be here.
Yeah, me too. So let's first just talk about Chiirp. What is Chiirp? What do you guys do? What do you provide in the home service industry?
Well, that'll be the first 2 hours of the podcast, and then we'll jump into the rest. No, Chiirp is an automation platform specifically focused on follow-up. So to increase conversion rates on leads, that's our number one focus, is helping people increase their conversion rates on leads. We use multi-channel follow-up with a heavy emphasis on text messaging, because text messaging has the highest read rate, has the highest consumption rates, the most used, form of communication, obviously. And then we use email and ringless voicemail as well as secondary forms of follow-up. So I don't like to necessarily be lumped into, a text message platform, although that is the most powerful way to follow up with somebody. We really are an automation platform. You can come up with hundreds of different automations for your business using Chiirp. And we specifically focus on the home service space because of our deep integrations into Service Titan, House Call Pro, Jobber, several others. But the purpose is to, take the follow-up off the plate of the sales guy or the technician, whoever's going out to the home, and using the CRM or the field service management system to trigger those follow-ups to happen at the exact right time. So we want to make sure we're following up with the exact right leads, exact right message at the exact right moment. So whether that's at an estimate follow-up or if a lead comes in, whatever it is, at any point in the customer journey, if they drop out of the funnel, we want to get them back in.
So how did you get started in this business?
Well, back in 1982, I was born. And I'm going to take you through the whole, no. I had some really great success in early 2010, 2011. I had some really great success with my own business. I had a windshield repair business. That was the first entrepreneurial venture that was successful for me. And in 2014, I created a course, an online digital course, how to start and grow your own windshield repair business. And I started selling that course to young entrepreneurs. And I made a whole bunch of money doing that. And I was selling it through text messaging, through text message automation. I was piecing together Facebook ads and texting these leads as they would come in. And it converted, the conversion rate was excellent. I was making, like I said, lots and lots of money, and just saw that it was a really good opportunity that, this was kind of the future of sales, was through texting, and not selling through texting, but at least nurturing and preparing the lead for a sales conversation through text messaging. And so in 2018, I think it was, I got the idea to say, okay, let's put this strategy together into a platform. And that's when it all started. I had an engineer friend, a software engineer friend from way back in the early 2000s. And I reached out to him. I said, hey, I've got this idea. Do you feel like programming it? And it turns out that he's one of the best engineers on the planet. And him and I put our heads together. And he said, you tell me what to build, I'll build it. And so I came up with all the ideas, and he put them together into an actual software, and Chiirp was born 2019.
Very cool.
2019, we got our first customer, and since then we've been figuring it out.
Yeah, growing like crazy. So when customers come to you, when home service companies come to you and they want to sign up with Chiirp, how many of them have implemented a text message or a follow-up strategy like that in their business, would you say?
Everybody, we're at a point in the market now where it seems that everybody has some sort of, tool in place for something. They're doing something, whether that's email or their field management software has some built-in functionality. We've been focused 100% of our effort on this process, on just this part of software for, I've been doing this since I started the course. So that would have been 9 years ago. So I've been doing this for about 9 years, and there's so much to the follow-up. There's so much as far as being very specific with your follow-ups. And so as companies, use their, more simple platforms that are out there, they start to see a need for a deeper functionality, deeper ability to be more laser targeted with their campaigns. And that's usually when they come to us, is because they're going, hey, I see the value of follow-up, and I'm getting some traction with what I'm using, but I want the good stuff now. I want the real hard drugs.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's where we specialize. We specialize in this, and so we're able to really focus what we're building into getting really good at this one thing,
Yeah. So what I see is people have gotten really comfortable, right? When they're sending a text message to maybe their maintenance club members. But outside of that, when they're really trying to follow up with more of their database, that's where it seems like it's challenged.
Oh yeah, for sure. So you have your list of people, right? And you have your database of people, and within that you have different chunks. You have your leads, you have your estimates, you have your jobs, you have your people that are customers that have that are memberships. There's all different parts of the list, and there's gold within each of those parts of the list. And people aren't mining for gold in every part, right? And so they may go, oh, I'm already doing texting in my business. And you go, okay, cool. What are you doing? Oh, we text our members. Okay, great. Well, what about here? Nope. What about here? Nope. What about here? Nope. And there's 100 different ways that we can be following up with different parts. Like we'll have people that it's like, hey, I did a service on this guy 2 years ago. I haven't communicated with him in 2 years. And that's crazy because, and I don't mean to call you crazy, anybody that's listening, but you paid for that lead 2 years ago. Whenever you got it, you're marketing the budget that you spent on marketing at that time to get that person to raise their hand. Now they're in your database and you can market to them for free forever now. And so you absolutely should be, even if they haven't converted in the last year or whatever it is, you have that contact in your database until they opt out, until they say, don't contact me anymore. You should be marketing to them, communicating with them, staying top of mind so that you're not reinvesting marketing. I mean, it's tragic to me that you would pay for a lead and then they disappear and then your marketing efforts go out again to get them back into the system and you're basically paying for them over. And it's like you're renting. It's like renting versus owning, right? It's like you're just renting their contact information instead of owning it, So
that's a great analogy. Let's talk about, before we get into some really specific campaigns, let's talk about some of the rules and regulations in regards to reaching out to customers this way through text message.
Yeah, so it's different everywhere, and I'm never going to give you like full legal advice. I'm not an attorney. If you should consult, locally, there's different rules and different ways of doing things. We want to make sure that people are opting in, so you should be doing everything you can to get people to opt in. There are various rules around that, and we can send you information about different things, and you can draw your conclusions. There's a lot of different opinions. There's a lot of opinions, we should say, about things, and so you should get to where you're comfortable in your area with what you're doing. But generally speaking, you shouldn't be buying lists and texting them. If you've done service for them, or if they are a past customer, if they've requested information from you, you should have on your forms, on your invoices, just any chance you can get to say, hey, we're going to communicate by text messaging. You should have that on there. So there are rules around it. You don't want to blast lists that you don't have permission to text. And we can, like I said, go over specifics, but you want to be careful, but it's not scary. You shouldn't be scared of doing this. You should be careful, but not scared. So.
And as a general rule of thumb, interacting with customers you've done business with in the last 18 months is okay as far as text messaging them?
We've seen that in Supreme Court rulings and different things. You should look into that. But yes, that's what we've seen.
Okay. So they're in Chiirp. They've signed up and the platform's pretty amazing. Let's talk about different ways that they can interact with their customers. So one of the things that I love that you guys have is something called speed to lead. Can you explain that?
Yes. So speed to lead is, whether it's texting or anything, speed to lead is extremely important. Okay. I'll go into why texting is fun for that. But when somebody raises their hand and says, I'm interested in your product or service, whether that's filling out a form on your website, it's calling your business, it's filling out an Angie's form, it's filling out a Facebook lead form, a Google lead form, whatever it is, they're raising their hand and saying, I'm interested in your product or service. Studies show that if we don't contact those leads within 1 minute of them submitting their information, we have a much smaller chance of converting them. Like, it drops dramatically, even into minute 2 and minute 3. And the reason, there's several reasons for this, but one of the major reasons is that people these days, and every business owner should probably nod their head at this, people are very entitled these days, and they have very short attention spans. And so, and it's getting worse. I see it in my kids. I'm trying to combat this as much as I can with the kids, but I have the problem too. You get on your phone, you get distracted by TikTok or Facebook Reels or something, and those things grab our attention. Everybody's fighting for attention, right? That's why Facebook will do everything they can to get you to stay on Facebook, because your attention is worth money. And so if I submit my information on your website and I don't hear back from you very quickly, guess what? I have a million other options to go and pick. It's funny you say that, because over the weekend, I was reaching out to somebody for a service for my home, and I literally put in my information. I want to say 2, maybe 3. One guy got back to me out of the 3 on Saturday, and we booked on Saturday. the two others got back to me today, Monday. So who won in that situation, right? It was the guy that got back to me right away. And guess what? He got back to me with a text message, right? Like the moment I submitted my information. So speed to lead automates this process so that we're cutting them off before they have the opportunity to go look somewhere else. So let's say you do fill out a form over the weekend. Do you have somebody sitting there just ready to take the phone call? That's expensive, right? And so if we text them and say, hey, I got your information, I'm going to get back to you shortly. Or if it is the weekend and you don't take calls on the weekend and you want to just say, I've got your information, I'm gonna put this in the system and I'll call you back on Monday. That's better than doing nothing. And that can cut them off from going to the next person down the list. And so speed to lead allows us to automate that. Somebody fills out that information and we automate that initial text message to go out and contact them within that first minute so that we're starting that conversation and we're solidifying that lead before they have that opportunity to go to the next. And people don't realize that even just waiting 2 or 3 minutes, I mean, that's enough. That's enough to go, all right, well, who else is there? I'm going to call this guy. And you lose that deal. And it's potentially thousands of dollars that you just lost because of that 1 minute that went past.
And so who is Chiirp integrated with in regards to speed to lead right now?
So really, I mean, there's no platform we can't make a speed to lead process happen. So Angie leads, Facebook leads. We just are finishing up our Yelp integration. We can still make it happen, but we're actually going to have a direct integration.
That's exciting. We have to stop and pause and just be so thankful for that. Very exciting.
That's coming up. There's, your website form fills, anything that's putting in, and then one that's overlooked is abandoned calls. So somebody calls in and you don't answer that call because you're on the other line or all your call center's full or whatever. If that call is abandoned, we can trigger that text to go out right then. And that's huge. That's like, we've seen major success with that with some big companies. Eco Plumber, Aaron Gaynor is a $75 million plumbing company. And he implements speed to lead on abandoned calls. And his first week, he captured $250,000 or somewhere between $200,000 and $300,000 of revenue. His first week that he was missing because he wasn't just triggering a text message to go out on the abandoned call. And that text goes out, says, hey, sorry we missed your call. Would you click here if you'd like to book or respond with your question? And they can just click and book right there. And he said most of them just click and book. So any way that somebody's raising their hand, we can make sure you're triggering that speed to lead.
Right now, it's so important to interact with your customer base. And we talked about at the beginning of the call how a lot of times a lot of people aren't doing that. And then they look at their database and they see how many customers that they haven't done business with in over 2 years. And they're like, oh my gosh, I lost this customer. So can you talk about how Chiirp kind of works on a multi-touch approach and how it would apply to a customer right now interacting with their customer base?
So we do multi-touch throughout the customer journey to increase conversions. Now, everybody's heard, there's various arguments back and forth about how many touches are appropriate, what's aggressive, what isn't aggressive. That's something you determine in your own business. We've had people come to us. I always bring this up because I think it was funny the way the guy put it, but he said, our policy is we reach them or we get a restraining order. So those are that's how aggressive that guy wants to be. So you can find where in your business how aggressive you want to be. I think that's probably overly aggressive. So you determine your business. However, most people say 12 to 18 touches is what it takes to get maximum conversion. Now, a touch is not necessarily a phone call to this person. It could be they see your billboard, they see you on Facebook, they get a text message, they get an email. These are different touches, right? And so let's say somebody, fills out a form on your website and we hit them with a text message. Hey, thanks for filling out the form. And they don't convert. That's okay. We want everybody to convert right away. That would be awesome if we had 100% conversion rate. I would be out of business and we could all be happy. We'd all be multimillionaires and it'd be great. But people need nurturing. So that text message goes out, they don't convert, right? So let's follow up with them 2 weeks at least People are super busy. If you're like me, I will get on a task, and then if my mindset shifts into something else, that task is dead to me for a long time until it resurfaces. And if that person didn't stay top of mind with me, I'm going to go somewhere else because I don't remember who I filled that form out with, And so if I fill out a form and I don't convert right away, you're going to want to follow up at least for 2 weeks to be, fairly aggressive, because that's when most people are going to probably convert. And then you would back off and drip very slowly, once every 3 months, once every 6 months. We have people all the time come back and say, a text message went out, a 6-month follow-up went out, and the person responded and said, oh yeah, I have been meaning to do that. Let's go ahead and move forward. And so what sales guy is going to do that for you? What sales guy is going to reach out 6 months from now and follow up with a lead, or what? And so just putting that in the background so that it's working and you're staying top of mind is going to increase that conversion rate. And so we do that at the lead level. We do that at the estimate. If an estimate goes on, they don't convert into a job, we want to make sure we're following up consistently there. And then post-job, after a job is complete, how do we make sure we stay top of mind so that when they're ready to do business again? You can do simple things like filter change reminders throughout the year, tips and tricks in the fall and spring, different things that just keep your company top of mind until it's time to do business again. And so that's the process. Everybody that's in the database from now on is going to continue to stay, within that until they opt out or until you, do business. And if you do it right, you won't get high opt-out rates. If you're bugging people to a point where they're opting out, you're probably, too much. So you're finding that balance. But most normal people and the kind of people you want to probably do business with are okay with getting filter change reminders. They're okay with getting a couple texts every year about, hey, it's springtime. Here's something you can do to make sure your system's functioning properly. And it's not even a sales text. It's just a reminder, and they appreciate that. And then they go, oh, you know what? It's been making this weird sound. Can you guys come check it out? And then you have a new opportunity.
So we're heading into shoulder season right now for many companies, depending on where you live. Can you talk about some specific campaigns that your customers could utilize on Chiirp right now for that?
Yeah. So I talk about this all the time because he's one of our very, very, very first customers in HVAC, Dustin Miller with Comfort Now. He's now consolidated, but he's been with us a long time. Big supporter. He's always filled his shoulder season. And there's 2 points I'll make with this question. Number one, it's really cool because in this case, you can, as you grow and you get bigger and bigger, you can maintain a down-home connection to your customers that people really appreciate. People really like having their guy. Like, oh, that's my guy. That's my guy I use for HVAC. I know the owner. They have that relationship. But as you scale your business, it's hard to maintain relationships because you're getting more and more customers, right? So it's like, how do you maintain that down-home feel as you scale? And you can do that with automation. You can send out these messages. And so send out this text, hey, it's Dustin. Just wanted to let you know that it's about that time of year again when we recommend getting your system tuned up. I've got a few slots this week. Let's get you on the schedule. That's a text message go out. Or he sends out in a voicemail first. So he sends out the voicemail. So it's his voice. So imagine that. You're the owner of the company. You're not going to sit down and call 500 people, but you can send out a voicemail with your voice, and you just did that. You just automated that. And so now you can maintain that, and they go, oh, that's my guy. And then you follow up like 15 minutes later with a text message. Hey, our owner here just reached out to you. Just want to let you know we're filling up for the next few days. Would love to get you on the schedule. Now, notice how what I'm saying is not markety. It's not alert, 10% off the next 20 people that, it's just conversational. It's what you would send your friend in a conversation, and you just say, hey, would love to get you on the schedule. We're looking to work, fill up our schedule. Just let me know. And that's all you're doing. You're not pushy. And that can be huge because people don't want to be sold to, but they do want to get their stuff maintained and taken care of. And so just maintain good conversation, reach out to your past database that you've done business with and just say, hey, it's that time of year again to get tuned up. We'd love to come out. Let us know. We had another guy. didn't like the idea of doing like a discounted tune-up. And this was brilliant because this is just helping you think outside of the box. Instead of saying, hey, we're doing a discounted tune-up, he just said, hey, I felt bad because last year I wasn't able to get to all my clients. I want to make sure you can get on the schedule this year. We're doing tune-ups. What would be a good time for us to come out? Notice he doesn't say anything about a discount. It's a different approach to the conversation. It's, hey, I want to make sure I have time for you. Let's get you on the schedule.
You matter.
Yep, you matter. And now the conversation isn't even around a discount, it's around, hey, I just want to make sure you get on the schedule. I want to make sure your machine's working right. Your system's working right. So think outside of the box. Try not to just be, these lame marketing text messages that are clear. I mean, people see them and they just clearly just pass right by. But the moment you make that human connection, you have a much better chance of conversion.
What do you think about offering like educational things that are going on in the industry? Do you think that's important when it comes to text messaging, or keep it shorter?
With text messaging, I would say no, I wouldn't do that. I would do that through email. Email has its place. I don't want everybody to think they have to do everything through text messaging. Text messaging should be conversational. Email should be informational. And then that's how you'd separate the two. Do I want to send out information? Yes, I'm going to send that through an email. Now, do you want to couple that with a text message to get them to read the email? Maybe so. So let's say you send out the email and then a little while later you just go, hey, I sent you an email about this or that. Did you get a chance to read it? Now you're conversational and you're getting the information out, right? So now you're not sending some long text that looks like a word wall and people aren't reading it and it's just obnoxious, but you're sending out an email, and people expect emails to be much longer than text messages. That's cultural. And you can couple that with a text message, but have the text message be conversational. Did you get a chance to read that email I sent you?
I like that. Can you talk about your, every customer matters so much right now. And when you look at your cancellation for a month, you're in your CRM and you're looking at all the cancellations. You're like, gosh, darn it. I can't believe we lost those clients. How would you follow up with cancellations?
Like membership cancellations, right? So first, I would attack it before they get a chance to cancel. So I'm going to be triggering messages to go out before their renewal to get them excited again about it and why they signed up. The problem is by the time somebody cancels, it's oftentimes you've waited too long. You want to take the proactive approach before they cancel. Okay, but if they have canceled, we still have them in there and we still want to attempt to get them back on. So, of course you're going to offer another trial period or something that just says, hey, we hate to see you go. I know it can be a cost, but we're afraid that if you leave now, it's going to be more costly in the long run for you. So let's have a conversation around that and try to talk to them about why canceling is ultimately going to be more expensive for them than sticking around. Because everybody's stressed, right? And usually those cancellations are coming from a place of anxiety. And so anxiety is not logical. And so you can't really just hit them back. You want to try to acknowledge and be very mindful of their anxiety. Don't underestimate the power of anxiety is what I'm saying. And soften the blow and then say, hey, I totally understand. It's hard. And empathize with them and then bring back around the idea that it's going to be more costly if they cancel and that they're probably going to have, you don't obviously want to scare them, but you don't want to feed their anxiety, but you just want to say, hey, I'm on your side. I want to help you out. So the first thing, be proactive before they even have the chance to cancel. Make sure you're doing everything you can to get them to see the value in what you offer, and do that before they have the chance to cancel. Post-cancel, be very empathetic, follow up, and then put them into a campaign that's going to drip over time because they're going to have to come back, right? Everybody's going to come back. And so if they do ultimately cancel, drip messages over, every 3 months or something. Hey, just want to make sure everything's working good for you. Let's have a conversation and get them back that way. So, but keep them in that drip campaign forever until they opt out,
That's great. So you might have some customers listening right now that are on Service Titan and they're utilizing their text messaging feature where they can follow up with their memberships. And I think they've started to add in some unsold estimates and some other ways. So can you talk about Chiirp's kind of best in class and how it's really different than what some of the CRMs are offering, particularly Service Titan, which many of our listeners are on?
So yeah, we talk about this best in class versus all in one, and we've kind of talked about this a little bit earlier on. But we find that as software companies spread their efforts out across all different parts of the customer journey and everything, they're trying to be everything for everybody, and they end up not putting as much emphasis onto one specific thing that needs a lot more emphasis, and it doesn't get the same amount of attention, or it doesn't have the same amount of features and the same amount of robustness that you may need in your business. And so that's kind of the comparison, all-in-one versus best-in-class. We are 100% focused on this one thing. And so there are so many little things. I couldn't go over all of them because I wouldn't even be able to tell you all of them, because a lot of them get very technical with APIs and webhooks and all these different things, different phone numbers, all these different sub-filters on what estimates we want to follow up with when, and exactly what we want to say, what technician was it, and how much was the estimate. So there's all these filters and all these, tons of different little things that make it very specific on how we follow up. And when we say best in class, when you come to us for our service, we're going to give you like very specific, very expert advice on how to do this one thing. And we're not going, do this, but then this is also how you do your price book, and this is how you dispatch, and it's like we're pros on this one thing, and we've got it done. And that's why you see the biggest companies in the space using us is because they rely heavily on us to help them build these campaigns, to help them get specific targeting, to help them, really dial it in. We never say, here's your software, good luck. Our software is a part of what we do. The service and the expertise that comes with that is what really differentiates.
That's great, because I think, as a marketing person, it's really intimidating sometimes when you're trying to learn all these different platforms and you're in the CRM and nobody's kind of guiding you through these. So to have a team of people, that can actually help you build the audiences and come up with ideas is super helpful.
Yeah, and we have what we call, automation experts, customer success experts, however you want to say that, but they are incentivized to make sure you are successful with this. So you basically you have the software and you have a human partner who has a vested interest in making this successful. And that is huge because, you have somebody that's working with another company and saying, hey, you know what, this company over here, they're doing this really cool thing. I want to help you do it in your business too. It's like, where are you going to get that, And so that alone is like makes it way worth it, but the ability to further target is even further. So it's like having a knowledge base, an expert, and somebody behind you, that's a huge deal.
Definitely huge. What do you see for some future trends in this space right now?
Future trends, obviously AI is, really kicking up dust. There's a lot of talk about AI, and we do implement some really cool AI for conversations. So a lot of people, there's scarcity mindset versus abundance mindset in AI. Scarcity mindset, AI is coming, they're going to take away all our jobs, right? Abundance mindset, AI is an awesome tool. It's only going to make us better, right? It's only going to make me as a human better at my job. So don't be afraid of it. Embrace it because it's coming. It's not going to go away. But the people that embrace it are the ones that are going to keep making money, because there's never going to be a point where the robots take over and the humans don't make money anymore. It's like Humans are going to rule. It's not iRobot. Will Smith isn't going to have to save us.
Well, use it to your advantage, right?
Use it to your advantage. So what I mean by that, okay. So let's say, a CSR is scared to death that AI is going to take over. And the other CSR says, no, I like it. The one CSR is going to do, nope, I'm going to call through my 100 people. I'm going to get them booked. The other CSR says, I'm going to use AI. I'm going to send out a message to 100 people. I'm going to use AI. And the 20 people that are interested, I'm going to spend my time with them. And I'm going to get done in an hour what's going to take you all day, right? So now that CSR just accomplished a ton more in an hour than that person did all day. And they're still the star of the show. And they're still the ones that that are making the money. And that's making the boss happy and everybody's happy. And so it's just this mindset of how am I going to use this to become a superhuman? I'm going to use this to get more done. I'm going to let the robots do the robot thing. I'm going to do the human thing, and I'm going to do it much more effectively. There are so many tasks, and I consider this tragic, right? I'm a big believer in mindset and in the human brain and how powerful it is. If we actually have human brains in our organization working, which we all do, we have human brains, and we are not challenging those brains to be stronger and better and figure things out. It's like buying a bunch of Porsches and just leaving them all in first gear, right? So we should be challenging our humans to be better and better and better. And technology can help us do that. It's not something to replace them. It's just to make them better. So trends, to go back to the question, definitely AI. I see it going to where the AI can fully take you through and book. We have it pretty well working with some companies where they can actually from lead all the way to booking the job. AI is taking care of that. And that's where you go, okay, so is that doing the CSR's job? And you go, well, yeah, but the CSR now can be overseeing all of this and learning how this all works and understanding AI and how they can better implement it in your business. And now they maybe have different tasks within their role, but they're becoming more and more powerful.
Let's talk about 3 clear takeaways. So one thing I think is really important when somebody's listening to a podcast is that they have 3 things they can implement in their business right away. So let's remind them of speed to lead real quick.
I would say speed to lead is so important that if you only used Chiirp or another software, whatever it is, there's other softwares that can accomplish certain things, but we like to think we're the best, and our results do speak for themselves. But to implement speed to lead, if that's all you used it for, it'd be worth your investment all day long, because that alone can increase your conversion rate on your leads, and you'd get an ROI. You would see a really good ROI on your investment into software like this, and you would see an uptick in and to really drive home, leads are just going to get more expensive. Leads are like real estate, right? It's only going to get more expensive. And so you have to maximize conversion rates. You have to do everything you can to make the most out of your leads that you're getting. And so if you can find those holes in your business, and if speed to lead is one of them, I would say that would be enough to get you to do something like this.
All right. And second one, implementing a multi-touch approach.
Yeah, multi-touch. Like we said, this just goes right back to that same question. We got to get the most out of our leads. You got to squeeze them for everything you can in a good way. Don't want to sound like the mafia or something, but you want to make sure that you're converting at the highest level. I've seen leads literally say, I only will go with somebody if they follow up with me. And so you'll get that. I saw, and we get to see this because we get to see this inside Chiirp, what's working and what isn't, And we've seen somebody fill out 3 forms with 3 different companies and literally wait and to see who follows up with them. And they'll wait a few days and they'll say, cool, this guy obviously wants my business. He's willing to follow up with me. He cares. I'm going to go with this guy. So I'm not saying that's everybody, but that's one example of why you need to follow up. The more common example is that people are just distracted as can be right now. And they've got a million things going on. They want to get their stuff fixed. They want to do it. They wouldn't have filled it out if they didn't, but they are just distracted. And what is crazy, and this is crazy to me because we're all, see a forest for the trees. We're so close to our project, right? We're so close to HVAC. That's all we think about is HVAC. Or if you're plumbing, all we think is plumbing, right? A typical homeowner doesn't even know what HVAC means, right? And so when their air conditioning breaks down, or when there's something making a sound, it's one of a million different problems that they have to solve. You're not priority. And so it's weird for us because we go, well, you requested information. Like, what's your problem? Like, what the heck? And it's like, oh yeah, but then my husband called and he said this, or my kids threw up, or whatever it is. These distractions are all over the place, and you might hit them with a text message on day 2, right when they had a fight with their wife, right when the guy had a fight with his wife, right? And he's looking at the text going, throws his phone, he's pissed off, and it's like, okay, let's follow up another day when his emotional state is a little different. We don't know, we obviously don't know, but we can't until we follow up.
Definitely. And then third, automate it.
Automate it. Well, yeah, and this is where we turn our people into superhumans, right? We're not getting rid of human beings here. We are taking the task, the redundant, boring tasks off their plate so that we can maximize the brains in our business, maximize their output, maximize their ability to use their problem-solving skills and become better, so that they have a more fulfilling position at your work. I mean, how boring is it to just sit and do these redundant tasks over and over again that can be automated? Take that off their plate, turn them into superhumans.
Love it. So a few more things that I just want to clear up on Chiirp. How long are your contracts, Ryan, at Chiirp?
They are for the rest of your life until you die. No, we have a 3-month, basically trial period for the contract. So you're basically, you can opt out during that first 3 months. We do put a lot of time and effort. There's a lot of human interaction at the beginning to get you set up. So we want to earn your business. We want to earn and show you that it's worth it in that first 3 months, to show you that this is worth committing to. And then at that point, we do ask for a 12-month commitment. But we've proven that it works and you're getting an ROI and it makes sense. So we're not gonna beat you up and lock you into anything until you actually say this is worth it. I'm getting an ROI. And the only reason we do that is because those who pay attention, right? And we want to make sure that you are. It's like a gym membership, right? You can buy a gym membership and get absolutely nothing out of it if you don't show up, right? And so we find that the people who are successful with this engage, they embrace it, they learn it, and it's not something that you just click the button and it's going. It's something that you do have to implement and put time and effort into, but it has exponential returns if you do that. And so that's why we give that period at the beginning to just really prove that we can do this and that it does make a difference. And then at that point we say, all right, let's commit. Let's date, and then let's get married.
That's great. And your fee structure is based on number of customers in your database that you can interact with. Is that correct?
Yeah. So based on the size, it all boils down to based on the size of your company, how much strain it's going to put on our system, and we have to just judge it based on that. And that's kind of how we've determined that.
Anything else you feel like our audience should know about Chiirp?
Yeah. So just a brief overview of the process of onboarding would be probably helpful.
Yeah, for sure.
So we do a demo with you. So the first thing we want to do, we don't want to take anybody's money that we don't think we can help increase their revenue, increase their lead conversion. So we're going to do a demo. We're going to see what kind of system you have, what you're doing now, where we think we can help you improve. And if it makes sense, we're going to onboard you. If you onboard, you'll get your onboarding expert, and you'll get tied up with your CSM, your customer success manager, who's going to be the relationship guy. He's the one incentivized to make sure that you are successful with the system. So you'll get with your onboarder. You'll say, depending on how fast you want to implement, it can be up to 2 months, but usually in that first 2 to 4 weeks, you're getting a ton of stuff implemented, a ton of these campaigns set up. Within the first week, you have stuff operating. But then we determine what of these campaigns, what of these various strategies do you want to focus on? And then we get it set up. And then throughout that time, we help you continue to add layers and layers of automation. and you continue to learn various new strategies. And as things come out, we don't want to just come in and make all these changes in your business all at once, because it's dangerous to do that. You want to take it a step at a time. And then once you've onboarded over that 4 to 8 weeks, you're then turned over to your CSM, and that's your point of contact. It's going to help you make sure that you're successful with whatever you want to do. Go to him with ideas. He'll come to you with ideas. But now you have a relationship with us, and you can communicate with us whenever you need. And people are always coming up with new, cool automation ideas, and your CSM is going to be there to help you implement them.
And if you guys want to know how to contact Chiirp, the information will be on the show notes below. And I can't thank you enough, Ryan, for being on the show today.
You got it, Megan. This has been great. Thank you so much.
Thanks for tuning in. If you'd like to get connected, you can find me at chadmpeterman.com. To see what our team's up to, you can visit petermanbros.com. As always, keep growing out there.